My name is Forward Pure, and today I am talking about the WWE Superstar Shakeup. Now, first of all, I would like to kick this video off by saying thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the commentary, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below of who you think will be moved during the Superstar Shakeup. Okay, now let's get into this Superstar Shakeup that's happening tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. So the rumor trades, or rumor shakeups, first of all, is Charlotte to Smackdown. Now, I personally like this shakeup because Charlotte done everything she needed to do on Monday Night Raw. 4-time women's champ already. And she faced everybody on the roster from a 3 to 4 month program with Sasha Banks against Bayley for about a month or two. And that's really what the women's division on Raw has to offer. And besides the return of Emma, which she just returned last week. And this gets something fresh and new for Charlotte on SmackDown. Her and Naomi can go at it for the women's championship on SmackDown. Two of the top athletic women in the women's division. We already seen her against Becky Lynch. Now that's a rivalry you need to revisit. Mickie James, Natalya, Carmella, the list goes on and on. And they can't go nowhere but up from here by moving Charlotte to SmackDown. I love moving Charlotte to SmackDown because it's something fresh for her to do. So that's a plus in my book for Charlotte going to SmackDown. Now onto the SmackDown Live side. We have the former SmackDown Women's Champion Alexa Bliss going over to Monday Night Raw. Now, my perspective on this is I hope Alexa can do good on Raw as she was good on SmackDown. But I'm not sure the creative teams for Raw are as good as the ones for SmackDown, because most of the SmackDown guys, creators, are some from NXT and they know what to do with Alexa Bliss and some other people like that. Now, her going to the Raw side is, I guess, okay for me. I'm really not too high on it, but maybe she can have some good matches with Bayley, Sasha, get a tag team with Nia Jax. And that's really all I see. I don't really see her winning the Raw Women's Championship. She'd probably be hot for about a couple months and fade out. The Alexa Bliss to Raw, I guess it's an okay move for me. Just have to deal with it. And now we have a tag team switch, or switch to a different brand. Gallows and Anderson may be going to SmackDown and teaming up with their club member AJ Styles. I love this swap right here because you give SmackDown a new extra tag team, which should have been a revival. I don't get why they debuted on Monday Night Raw, because SmackDown's tag division really needs some help. They only got 2 teams, the American Alpha and the Usos. I guess you can throw Slater and Rhino in there, but they really haven't been feuding for the championship since they lost them. And outside of those 2 teams on SmackDown, there's really no other competition. So putting Gallows and Anderson back on here, they can dominate the tag division while AJ Styles dominates the main event scene on SmackDown, and the club can have gold around their waist. Gallows and Anderson are tag team champs, and AJ Styles is your WWE champ. That's gold right there. And then we have another tag team switching the brand, and we have the New Day. Now, let's face it, the New Day has been getting quite stale lately. Ever since they been the longest running tag team champ in WWE history. Now, switching them over to SmackDown is a good thing for both shows. Them to get away from Raw, and them gonna have something fresh on SmackDown. Now, this will probably only last a couple months, and everybody probably go their individual route. All 3 guys have the potential to become main event guys, and Vince most likely wants to push Big E. So the split of the New Day is more than inevitable. So this is a good move for both shows. a New Day moving to SmackDown. They can get away from Raw. They can have something fresh on SmackDown to do, and likely split up down the line. So New Day to SmackDown, it's a good move. We on to this rumored champion for champion swap, and swapping the U.S. champion Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental champion Dean Ambrose. Now this is a good thing for both shows. Dean Ambrose can be on Raw, where he's there with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Maybe they reform the Shield, but I don't see that happening no time soon. They probably tease it here and there if Dean Ambrose does go to Raw. So it's a both positive for both shows. And Kevin Owens going to SmackDown. He obviously had to do his program with Jericho if Jericho is scheduled to fight him at Payback. And that's something fresh for KO. He can get the WWE Championship scene. So it's more than likely he don't get his Universal Championship match, since Braun Strowman is the next opponent for Brock. So doing Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose switch is a good thing, a good positive for both shows. And you give them something fresh to do. Now that I have gotten through most of the rumors of the Superstar Shakeup, I like to do a bit of fantasy booking of my Superstar Shakeup. I will keep all the names I just listed, but I will add Rusev to this list during the SmackDown, because ever since he lost the U.S. Championship to Roman Reigns back at SummerSlam, I think, or after SummerSlam, Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam, something like that, he really hasn't been relevant. He went from that to teaming with Jinder Mahal. That went nowhere. Then he got hurt. Now he's going to be out for at least 3 to 4 months. And I see, the way I would put this is have him return on SmackDown, go up against the new U.S. champion at the time, or whoever it is, and have him, I guess, babyface. And just a fresh start for Rusev. Somebody who's not being used correctly on Monday Night Raw. And Raw just don't have the space for him to fit into the show. So my pick would be Rusev going to SmackDown. Also going to SmackDown would be Sami Zayn. We all know Raw is not using Sami Zayn the right way. It went from the Braun Strowman storyline was pretty good. Outside of that, he was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. One of the two has to get off Raw. Either Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens. One of the two has to leave Monday Night Raw. They go to SmackDown. So if either one of them is on different shows, I'm fine with that. Sami Zayn on SmackDown on Raw, or Kevin Owens on SmackDown on Raw. But one of those two will have to leave one brand and be on opposite brands, because it works in both of their favor. They need to get away from each other for quite a long time. And the superstar that I would like to switch brands from the Raw side to the blue side is Cesaro. Even though him and Sheamus are the new #1 contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championships, they can always do something like a Battleground where the Shield members fought for the WWE Championship, and Dean was drafted to SmackDown, and Seth and Roman was drafted to Raw, and neither one of them won, and Dean won, so the championship went to SmackDown. They can do that here at Payback, to where Cesaro and Sheamus lose against the Hardys, but Cesaro has been drafted to SmackDown, and Sheamus has stayed on Raw. So we need something, because Cesaro, he deserved it, man. It doesn't matter if he connects with the audience. He is connecting with the audience. He had his own Cesaro session. So Cesaro to SmackDown is long overdue. He needs a singles push, man. He needs to be in the title picture. And you have guys like Roman Reigns, no offense, he's not really connected to the audience. People boo him. We get he's the guy. He just retired the Undertaker. But a guy like Cesaro, man, he's been there too long. He's been at the mid-card tag team level for at least a couple years now. So let's get him something fresh to do. Put him on a different brand. Put him on SmackDown. Don't put him in no tag teams. Let him go after the main event, and we can see what Cesaro was really made of. And that's it for the people I believe who should go on SmackDown. Now for my Raw side, we're going to keep the Alexa Bliss going on Monday Night Raw, but I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to have Dolph Ziggler going to Monday Night Raw. Kalisto, Luke Harper, Mojo Rawley. Now, for Dolph Ziggler, just because it's Dolph Ziggler, I guess. Dolph Ziggler really hasn't had really much steam since he won a World Heavyweight Championship after WrestleMania 29. And after that, it just seemed like he went downhill from there. I guess just put him on the brand just to make sure he's just a big name. That's just going to a different brand, that's all. That's why I picked Dolph. So, Kalisto. The only way you're going to get the highest potential out of Kalisto is either you put him on Raw with the Cruiserweights or you put him back in the tag team with Sin Cara. But only way to he's going to pick up steam is either of those two options. Now, the option I would choose is put him in the Cruiserweight division because that's a face we all know. And you can get some amazing matches out of him in the Cruiserweight division. Him going up against Neville, going up against Austin Aries, Rich Swann, TJ Perkins. Only name a few. It can be just like Rey Mysterio back in the day against Ultimo Dragon, Chavo. So it'll be very reminiscent. Just put him on Raw because on SmackDown he really can't go against much competition. They try to do him and Baron Corbin, but obviously he's not beating Corbin. And the angle with him and Cruz best friends, and they both fought against Dolph Ziggler, just ain't something for him. So just put him on Raw, have him in the Cruiserweight division. That's a new face added to the division, a fresh face, and a face that we all know they can have some amazing matches with some of those competitors in the Cruiserweight division. No, they can have some amazing matches with some of those competitors in the Cruiserweight division. And now the reason I say Luke Harper is if they really want to push him as big as they trying to push him, he gets away from Bray Wyatt, fights Bray Wyatt on SmackDown for WrestleMania. Put him on a different brand, get him away from Bray Wyatt so he can venture on his own, maybe win a couple championships, and maybe getting the main events in him that really pushing him that far, just like Braun Strowman. He wasn't with the Wyatts that long, but he had drafted to a different brand, and all the other Wyatts had drafted to the same brand. Now you see the pattern. Now Luke Harper gets drafted to a different brand, and they gonna push him, and you can get some good out of Luke Harper leaving the Wyatt family. Now Mojo Rawley just won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, so I'm guessing they pushing him too. So pushing him, I hope him winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is reminiscent of Corbin winning if they gonna push him that way. But in my eyes, he's not better than Zack Ryder. I would put Zack Ryder before I would put Mojo Rawley, with all due respect. Zack Ryder's been there way too long, and he deserves it, man. Out of all the, I hate saying people deserve it, but come on, man. Look what Zack Ryder's been through. The stuff with Eve, just winning the championship in the ladder match last year at WrestleMania, and losing the very next night to The Miz, which catapulted The Miz, which catapulted him onto SmackDown and do great things. And Zack Ryder, he just got hurt not too long ago, probably in December. So when he comes back, they can split these two up, have Mojo on Raw, let them do whatever they're going to do with him since he won the Battle Royal, and let Zack Ryder do what he going to do on SmackDown. Hopefully getting another shot at the IC belt or the United States Championship. And to sum it all up, we have Charlotte going to SmackDown, Sasha Banks staying on Raw, Gallows and Anderson going to SmackDown, either Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn going on either or SmackDown or Raw, Rusev going to SmackDown, Cesaro going to SmackDown, and the New Day going to SmackDown, Alexa Bliss going to Raw, Dolph Ziggler going to Raw, Kalisto going to Raw, Luke Harper going to Raw, Mojo Rawley and Dean Ambrose also go to Raw. Now let's talk about the biggest rumor, AJ Styles going to Monday Night Raw or staying to SmackDown. Now let's look at the outcome of him going to Monday Night Raw. Okay, you get him going to Monday Night Raw. You get him in matches with the likes of Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, possibly reuniting with Gallows and Anderson, matches against Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, And the list goes on. Okay, now if it's rumored that the WWE just want to get the club back together. Now we already seen the club reunite on Monday Night Raw. Get us something fresh. Let them dominate on Smackdown. Now let's look on the outlook of him going to SmackDown or staying on SmackDown. Okay, you get Gallows and Anderson come on SmackDown. AJ Styles hasn't had his one-on-one championship match yet, mind you. So that's one huge bone, I believe, that's why he's staying on SmackDown. I don't see him going to Raw. Him going to Raw it's way too much competition. Well, it's not too much competition, but he could get lost in the shuffle. Dealing with that they making Reigns they guy. You got Seth Rollins, Balor, you got Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman. Only to name a few. They mainly core guys. And where does AJ fit in that equation? Now, if you're taking from SmackDown, you're taking a whole lot from SmackDown. And leaving SmackDown with just Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Cena. Cena's not even going to beat her. He's going to be filming some movies. And it's possibly he's missing SummerSlam. Outside of that, who you got? Corbin, Dean Ambrose. They feuding over the IC strap. Just had a street fight. So I will have AJ stay on SmackDown because he's the biggest part of SmackDown. You taking a huge chunk out of SmackDown, moving him to Raw. AJ Styles is worth 2 of Raw superstars. 2 of Raw's top guys for AJ Styles. That's how big and good and great AJ Styles is. If you're going to do that, SmackDown's going to need 2 guys from Raw just to get what you got out of AJ Styles on SmackDown. Now, a proposed trade, AJ Styles for Seth Rollins. Either one of those guys have to go, or both of them. Reigns, Rollins, or Balor. 2 of those 3 has to go to SmackDown for AJ Styles. It's only right. Because you're taking a huge chunk out of SmackDown's roster if you get rid of AJ Styles from SmackDown, put him on Raw. So 2 of those 3 main guys has to go to SmackDown for AJ Styles. And you're missing out on him and Shinsuke can main event at WrestleMania 34 for the WWE Championship. Just imagine that. A whole storyline built around AJ and the club against Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke, arguably, him and AJ are going to be the 2 biggest baby faces, even though AJ is going to be the heel. It's so much potential in AJ doing in both shows, but it's more potential. You get more out of it for the fans' sake, for him staying on SmackDown. Just because Shinsuke Nakamura alone, him, Randy Orton, you seen what they did on SmackDown to see who's going to face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Just imagine what they can do with the championship on the line. So, I believe AJ should stay on SmackDown, not go to Raw. Because Raw, the echelon for superstar just is so many. And on SmackDown, AJ Styles is the A guy. He made SmackDown what it is. Just like he said, he'd be damned if anybody take that away from him. And we right there with you, AJ. So let's keep AJ on SmackDown, man, so we can have competitiveness with both brands. Both Raw and SmackDown. So, yeah, that's my take on the AJ Styles going to Raw or staying on SmackDown. AJ Styles stays on Raw in my book. And that is it for my Superstar Shakeup predictions. A little bit of fantasy booking here and there. But tell me what you think and who you think is doing where and why in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the commentary, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Like, share, and subscribe. I am Forward Peer. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace.